3 misses foisted upon the marriage mark by their tasteless,
Tighter.
tactless mamma.
Tighter!
Is she to... In 1880, a woman could break her own ribs trying to be beautiful. In 2026, she books a flight to Turkey. The method changes, the message doesn't. Hi, my name is Chimplang, and this is The World We Inherited, a series about the things we didn't choose but ended up carrying anyway. Season 1 is about beauty, not the fun kind. The kind that has always told you something is wrong with you, where that came from, how it evolved, and why right now it might be stronger than it has ever been. This isn't a takedown, it's a map. So let's start from the beginning. To understand what's happening now, you have to go back, not 10 years, not 50, much further. Beauty standards are not modern inventions. They are one of the oldest systems of control we have. In ancient Greece, beauty was a moral category. To be beautiful was to be virtuous, to be favored by the gods. And crucially, beauty was defined by whoever held the most power. In Tang Dynasty China, roughly 600 to 900 AD, foot binding began as a court practice. A small foot signal wealth. A woman who could not work efficiently had the husband who could afford it. Beauty was the performance of someone else's prosperity. In 19th century Europe, the ideal woman had a smaller waist than her head. Corset, something worn from childhood, compressed organs, fractured ribs, and caused fainting so regularly that fainting couches became standard furniture. Women were told this was elegance. Doctors wrote that the narrow waist was a sign of refinement, of civilization, and of femininity itself. The language is different now, but the structure is the same. Someone in authority decides what a woman's body should look like and then sells her the tools to get there. In West Africa, in the 18th century, Mauritania, in pre-colonial Polynesia, fatness was the beauty ideal. It signaled health, wealth, and fertility. Women were sent to fattening farms before marriage. Note what all these have in common. The ideal was always difficult to achieve naturally, always required sacrifice, always served someone else's economy. Beauty standards have never been neutral, they have never been accidental, and they have never been free. The 20th century didn't invent beauty standards, it industrialized them. Before photography, before cinema, before television, beauty ideals existed, but they spread slowly. They were local. A village idea of beauty might differ entirely from a town 3 hours away. Then the printing press scaled up, then Hollywood, then television, and suddenly, for the first time in history, millions of women were all looking at the same image of what they were supposed to be. The beauty ideal didn't just narrow, it started moving fast. Every decade brought a new impossible standard and a new industry to sell you the solution. Now, I want to talk about something specific because in Africa, and particularly in countries like Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, there was a layer added to this, a colonial one. When the European colonial powers arrived on this continent, they didn't just take resources, they also instilled a beauty hierarchy. Light skin became associated with intelligence, civility, employment, marriageability. Dark skin became something to be overcome. The skin lightening industry didn't just emerge from nowhere, it was constructed. By the time social media arrived, 2 separate beauty ideals were already running in parallel in many African countries, a local one and a Western one, and the internet collapsed the distance between them entirely. Then something else happened. The idea got a new shape, literally. Through the 2010s, Something happened. Most popular aesthetics on social media, driven heavily by Black and Latina women, was curves, big hips, big lips, big breasts, features that dark skin and mixed race women had always had, features that had been mocked and hypersexualized for centuries. And now, white women were paying for surgeries to have them. This is the particular cruelty of the modern beauty standard. It would take what was once used to marginalize a body, strip it from its cultural context, and sell it back as a trend, while the original body is still punished for having its naturality. Right now in 2026, the beauty industry is the most powerful it has ever been, and it is more confusing than it has ever been. On one side, body positivity representations, the real body movement, brands casting plus size models, campaigns celebrating stretch marks. On the other side, semaglutide, Ozempic, a drug designed for diabetes that became most requested cosmetic treatment of the year because thinness is back. Simultaneously, we have more representation than ever. We have the body positivity movement and the generation of 18-year-olds editing their faces before they post it. The specific shape the ideal takes today is what researchers call aspirational realism. It's supposed to look achievable, just a little bit walk away, but it's surgically, financially, and racially specific in ways most people can't name. It looks like the filter that every phone now comes with by default: slimmer nose, lighter and more even skin, larger eyes, lifted jaws. It now looks like no one actually exists. And this is the part I want you to sit with, because this particular beauty standard, the one running right now, is not just telling you to change your body, it's telling you that your face, your natural face, the one you were born with, is a problem. Not just your waist, your nose, your skin tone, the space between your eyes, the texture of your hair. The standard has gone smaller, more specific, more personal, and through your phone, it is with you every minute. Now, I want to be careful here, because there is at least 3 legitimate arguments running at once, and I'm not going to pretend only one of them is true. First, people who modify their bodies are not simple victims. Adults who choose surgery, skincare, or cosmetic treatment often do this with a clear-eyed intention. The argument that no choice made under patriarchy is a real choice. Second, and also true, we cannot discuss individual choice without discussing the environment in which the choice is made. When hiring studies shows that women with European features earn more, when lighter skinned women in Nigeria receive more marriage proposals, when the algorithm punishes unedited faces with lower riches, the choice is real. Pressure around is also real. Third, beauty industry profits from the wounds and from the treatment. It creates the insecurity and sells the solution, and increasingly it also profits from the positive backlash. Inclusive campaigns are still advertising, the house also wins. This is not the simple story anyone tells you it is. It's probably selling something. What I want to offer to you is not an answer. I want to offer a question you can carry. When you look into the mirror and feel a familiar tug, that thing isn't enough. That thing should be different. I want you to ask, where did the thought come from, and from who does it serve? Not because the answers will fix everything, but because the thought that feels most personal, most intimate, most likely yours, is usually the one that was most carefully engineered for you. In 1853, a British physician named William Ward wrote that fatness was a disease as well as a dysmorphity. The language was medical, authoritative, and it felt like facts. In 1950, cigarette companies ran campaigns with taglines, "Reach for a lucky instead of a sweet," positioning cigarettes as a weight management tool. Doctors endorse it. In 1994, a Harvard psychiatrist described a new disorder, body dysmorphia disorder, obsessive preoccupation with perceived flaws in one's appearance. The other was real. What was interesting is what he said, that the standard had become so extreme, they were now causing clinical mental disorder. Each of these things was presented as science or health or medicine, and each of them served an economy. That's the simple thread running from the corsets to the BBL to the filters you didn't ask for, but your phone installed anyway. The body has been seen as a site of commerce, and it has always been called something else. Next week, we are going to talk about skin, specifically why lighter skin became valuable, how the idea traveled across continents, and why a $10 billion industry was built on a lie that was invented less than 300 years. If that made you think of someone, send it to them. If it made you think of yourself, that's probably the point. See you in the next one.